Ms. Weeks, just for the record, I do have you testifying for yourself against the bill, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie Sims, I have you representing yourself testifying against the bill.
Yes, sir, that's right. My name is Leslie Sims, and I'm against the bill. Here are a few things about myself. As of an hour and 10 minutes ago, I turned 22. Thank you. I'm a first-generation American. My parents came here to give me more, including a choice. I'm a black woman, and I think for some reason I need to remind people that women like me, are not welfare queens. We're not all drug addicts. We're not stupid. We're not whores. We're women. Just because we're invisible to you now and you forget that we're a priority, we're here. And we're not former slaves. We're not dumb. We vote. We will all vote, even if I have to walk them to the polls myself. We will all vote. I just wanted you to know that our presence here, our words, our stances are not repetitive. Our government's continuous attacks on our choice, on our bodies, is repetitive. And I don't appreciate you telling me that I'm repetitive. I'm 22 years old. I will be here every time you come for me. And if you think that's repetitive, I'm sorry that I'm doing my civic duty. Women like me, women who look like me, women who think like me, maybe we don't matter to you. That's fine. That's okay. You can tell me how you feel when you don't have your job in the coming election. We can talk about it over coffee. Don't worry. I wanted to come here as a birthday present to myself, so I would know that things that I was feeling were not just things that I talked about in a women's studies class, that this wasn't a phase. My outrage wasn't a phase. And as I sit here and as I listen and I see y'all, I know that I'm correct in coming. I'm not repetitive. My friends aren't repetitive. Don't call us that, Mr. Chair.
Please, once again, I've asked folks.
Oh, no, that was with the utmost respect, believe me. And if my presence here inspires you to change your vote against HB 60, I hope it's not because I remind you of your daughter or your granddaughter or your neighbor. Frankly, I have parents. What I need is elected officials who care about me, who do their job, and who feel that it isn't their job to impose their religious convictions upon me when I didn't ask. So, in conclusion, my presence isn't repetitive. Their presence isn't repetitive. I'm a black woman, and I'm coming back. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, we've got about 10 minutes left, so I want to try to keep this going. Patricia Orion here representing yourself against the bill.
Patricia Orion, Spicewood, Texas, speaking against HB 60. I want to go to 1975. The beginning of 1975, I was the state's primary witness in a rape trial of a serial rapist who was eventually sentenced to 25 years in prison. When the district attorney took me into his office to talk about whether he was going to bring charges, he read to me the code book. Did this, you need to be able to answer this. And one of the items was, were you assaulted with a mechanical device? Unfortunately, the state of Texas is now mechanically raping women, requiring vaginal ultrasounds. Anyways, 1975, so I had the rape trial. I got my adaptive aquatics where I was working for United Cerebral Palsy, working with handicapped children. Loved that job. And I got married. Shortly after, for the next 6 years into my marriage, I taught comprehensive sex education through my church to junior high and high school students. 1975, I was married. And at that time, I became a stepmother to 3 boys who were 12, 10, and 8. The next year, I became a full-time mother to 3 wonderful sons, the oldest of whom is a physician now. We got custody of the boys. I raised them for 13 years. After doing medical testing, my husband and I, after 13 years, I finally became pregnant. My husband said he had changed his mind. He didn't want to have another child and begged me, threatened me to have an abortion. I chose not to have an abortion. My son is 26 years old. He's a college graduate. He is serving in the Peace Corps. He is the most incredible person any of you could ever meet. I made a decision not to have an abortion. It was mine and mine alone to make. One of the things that just absolutely strikes me, and I have not heard it tonight, I went on Google. The World Health Organization and the United Nations, the countries who we now stand with in freedom for women: Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Canada, Australia. Those who we are going towards with these incredible draconian laws. Let me read the list to you. The Philippines, Syria, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Iran.
Patricia, I want to make sure we get a couple more people, so if you could close it.
You've heard my story. I made the decision. It scares me. The countries that we are leaning towards.
Thank you for your testimony. Jane Kirchman, I have you representing yourself testifying against the bill.
That's correct. Good evening. My name is Jane Kirschman. I'm here to testify against House Bill 60. I'm a constituent of Representative Larry Gonzalez from Williamson County. It's nice to live in interesting times. Here we are partying like youngsters in the middle of the night. I'm testifying against this bill because Texas women have the right to the health care they need to care for themselves and their families, and this bill is a negation of that right. This bill makes me think that some of our legislators have conquered time travel, but not in a good 88 miles per hour DeLorean way. As it has been since I became a young adult in the 1970s, safe and legal abortion is the law of the land. But the Texas legislature is doing its best to turn back the clock to a time when women's rights, and therefore families' rights, were light years behind what they are today. Today, any regulations about abortion, either surgical or pharmaceutical, must be based on sound science. Any decisions about an individual abortion must be made by the woman patient in consultation with her doctor. This bill is not based on sound science. The research on fetal pain is in no way definitive. However, sound research does clearly show that 20 weeks after fertilization is before viability. Banning abortion before viability is unconstitutional. This bill takes the reins of decision-making away from the woman. Waiting periods, medically unnecessary ultrasounds, clinic-to-hospital distance restrictions, all of these things act to abrogate a woman's right to make decisions about her reproductive health. To remove access to abortion by imposing trumped-up restrictions on clinic hallway size and rules about hospitals admitting privileges is unethical and is harmful to those whom this bill purports to help. My family is the joy of my life. My husband and I have had the good fortune to be able to plan our family. Each of my 3 pregnancies was planned, including the first one a full 6 years after we got married. The surprise in the first pregnancy was that it was twins. My second pregnancy ended early in miscarriage, and my access to health care enabled me to avoid life-threatening hemorrhage by having a DNC, a surgical procedure that is identical to an abortion procedure. Continuing access to reproductive health care allowed me to healthily have my third daughter 2 years later. I am lucky I have not been personally faced with the abortion decision. I am lucky my first ultrasound showed that our twins were not conjoined. I am lucky none of my children had a catastrophic congenital disorder. I am lucky my reproductive care and abortion access, my pregnancies were not ectopic and did not threaten my life. I am lucky. Texas reproductive care and abortion access cannot be simply, good luck. Texas women and their families have the right to safe and legal abortion. Vote no on House Bill 60. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. What we're going to do is take two more on this bill, and we're going to close this bill. Everybody that's behind this line can stay in that is testifying on the next bill, so you won't lose your place, and you'll get to testify. At this time, the chair is going to recognize David Dobbs. Is it Dobbs?
Either way.
Dabbs. No, I want to get it right. Come on up, David. I have you testifying against the bill, representing yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is David Dobbs. I'm a constituent of District 46, Representative Donna Dukes. Let me start by saying abortion is a fact. Even if every abortion clinic were closed, every women's clinic shuttered, every form of preventative birth control banned, and I know that that's the direction that is preferred to be gone to by our more extreme legislators, women will still have abortions. Women have always had abortions. Women will always have abortions. The availability of safe abortion clinics does not make abortions. They are not manufactured unless you want to count abstinence-only sexual education. It's not something that Governor Perry can wish away, which is what he seems to be trying to do with this bill. This is not a Disney movie. And Roe v. Wade ruling was not a triumph for either side. It's not an issue where either side can truly ever win. It was only an acknowledgement that abortion is a fact. The psychological trauma of having abortion alone is enough for a young woman not to have one. Supporters of this bill would have us believe safe and legal abortion is a sort of license for young women to sleep around, a get-out-of-jail card for flagrant, careless immorality. Note how this rhetoric treats the cost of an abortion, around $500 on average, or up. Others know better, I'm sorry. It treats it as if it were negligible cost. This by itself shows just how out of touch the drafters of this bill are with the economic reality of every Texas woman, with more to worry about than daddy getting really mad, which is statistically almost all of them. I wrote a novel. I'm skipping over a whole bunch. I know a lot of this is redundant, so bear with me. Something that's really, I think, troubling is that in Texas, maybe more than any other state, with its tradition of strong individuality, hatred for big, intrusive government, well, women take abortion rather seriously. I don't think I've met one yet who just considers it sort of, flip a coin, something like that. But given such sentiment in Texas in particular, the backlash from this has the potential to make abortion downright fashionable in some circles. That's worrying to me. Senator Eddie Lucio, the one Democrat who voted against it in the Senate, is correct. There is a culture of death in this country. The permanent damage inflicted on both the child and the mother who wasn't prepared to have a child. Don't think how many abortions there are. Think how many times someone who could have been a perfectly good mother under the right conditions is condemned to permanent poverty with no escape. For those going to school or working a job with Texas's fantastic low-wage job security, what little window for opportunity there is for young women born poor, and many who were not, has closed. You may think this is dramatization, but last I checked, the poor were still getting poorer. Single moms still don't exactly get husbands easily, to those who believe that that is the solution. and Texas still offers the least assistance of any state per capita. We can't take care of the people that we have. Why are we trying to take care of people who are hypothetical, people who don't exist yet, as if they're more important? To use the language of the proponents of this bill, that's putting the cart before the horse, if you ask me. It's